Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I am, of course, your host, Lauren Lee, long-term resident of Seoul, South Korea, K-beauty expert, and your guide to everything you need to know to perfect your skincare routine. And that is exactly what I wanted to have a chat about today. And in particular, I wanted to cover and take a little bit of an in-depth dive at Korean facial oils. I know this is something that we've had little bits and pieces of chats about, on the show before, but it's not something that we've ever actually done even an entire episode on. And there are lots more oils coming onto the market. It can be a little bit tough to know which one to pick, particularly because I think for a lot of people, the idea of using an oil in the first place has maybe come as a little bit of a shock. You're thinking, that doesn't sound like a great idea. I think a big trend in skincare, certainly when I was growing up, was oil-free. And you used to see that plastered onto products as a positive. It's like, this product doesn't contain oil. And it's only in the sort of maybe last five or so years that I think oils are finally getting the attention that they deserve. People are talking about them in a little bit more of a positive light. And so more brands are bringing them out and having a chat with their consumers, their customers, about how to use them. But if you have been one of those people that has either sat on the fence, not been sure which oil to buy, which one is perfect for you, then stick around for today's chat, because that is basically what I want to go through in a little bit of a detail to help you pick out what one might actually be the best one for you, talk about some of the products that are on the market in K-beauty at the moment. So when you think of an oil, apart from, acne inducing and all of those kind of things, the negative urban legend kind of things that you might have heard, the other thing that you might be tempted to think is, well, they're going to be very, very moisturizing because, very oily. But that is not actually what oils are all about. So moisturizers are designed specifically to moisturize the skin. I mean, it's kind of there in the name. But when it comes to oils, they don't actually absorb really deeply, and nor do they draw moisture into the skin. What they do is they sit on the surface of the skin and they help prevent moisture from escaping. So that means that they have a kind of different impact altogether from our moisturizers, and that is because they are occlusives. They have an occlusive effect to form a protective layer on our skin and lock in the moisture that's already there. So you might have heard of, things like occlusives before as a category. And, in contrast to things like, say, humectants and moisturizers. And that's essentially what we're talking about. But when it comes to one or the other, it's not quite as simple as that. Now, why people use an oil in the first place is because the skin has a balance that it needs with water and oil to maintain a good balance. And that's 70% water and about 30% oil. So just using a face oil or just using a moisturizer cannot actually deliver the water that you need to the skin. For that, you need a hydrator, which is why we often talk about things like humectants, our hyaluronic acid serums and whatnot. But the job of an oil is then to help the skin retain the water that's been put into it. And then the moisturizer acts as the protectant. So it protects our skin against things like free radicals, environmental damage, so all sorts of different things, pollution, the sun, and all of that. So these three categories really do work in tandem. Your oil, your serum, or your hydrator, it doesn't need to be in a serum format, and then your moisturizer as well. The three very different things. And that's why you will often hear people talking about layering products, particularly in K-beauty, very, very popular, and doing all of these different steps, as it were. And it's not just because we like to be super extra, but it really is because the skin has different needs that the different products can actually provide to the skin. So that, I guess, may or may not come as a surprise to you, or it might be something that you're already super familiar with. Face oils themselves have multiple different benefits, plenty of positives to using them. They can obviously promote a softer and plumper skin by helping to lock everything in. They can also help to protect your skin, your skin's barrier, particularly from the outside irritants as well, working in tandem with your moisturizer. And they can also give you that natural glow. A lot of oils on the market at the moment, I've noticed, are really leaning into that with their marketing, to give your skin that natural glow. But the other thing is, and this might surprise you a little bit, that they can help to control and maintain your skin's ideal sebum levels, your oil levels. And that is really important for acne prone and oily skin. So they're not just something for people that lack oil naturally in the skin, which dry skin falls into that category. As someone with dry skin, I know very, very well how difficult it can be to actually retain all of that nice, oily, moisturized feeling in my skin, but also for people with acne prone and oily skin. So that's why oils really are a lot more versatile than I think we've been led to believe. Particularly if you do have a look at a lot of anti-acne products, they will say oil-free, and that's like a selling point. But actually, if you're talking about maintaining the proper balance between the water and oil in your skin for acne-prone and oily skin, oil is a key part of that. You cannot have that correct balance unless you have the right balance between the water and the oil. So what oils should we then go for which skin types? What I'm going to do is run through a whole bunch of different skin types and some oils that will benefit for that skin type. But I don't want you to get too hung up on all of these. And I'll go into that at the very, very end. This is just a rough guide, but if you have normal skin, then face oils, things like jojoba, marula, and squalene can be really nice because a lot of these are not too heavy on the skin. If you're talking about dry skin, then obviously there's a lot of oils that will work for dry skin just because of how many different oils there are. So rosehip oil, almond oil, apricot kernel oil, which I love, squalene, marula, grapeseed, argan, lots of different, even like extra virgin oil can work for dry skin. When it comes to oily skin, in general, the lighter oils tend to be really nice. So you've got your tea tree, your jojoba, and your argan. Also grapeseed oil, that can be a really good one for people with oily skin, as can buckthorn seed oil as well, one that's very popular in Korean beauty. For combination skin, again, a lot of different oils can work for combination skin. You've got things like marula, jojoba, and flaxseed, grapeseed, which is just a great all-rounder, tea tree oil as well. And then for sensitive skin, moringa oil can be a really good one. And acne-prone skin, there's a lot of crossover you'll see. Tea tree, jojoba, squalane, evening primrose, and rosehip can be really good as well. Now, I said at the beginning not to get too hung up or wedded to any of these particular oils. Like, don't go and throw out your oil if you're using one that's slightly different. And the reason I say that is because these days a lot of products have a blend of different oils in them. So it's not just a single oil formula. And that's obviously going to then change how it interacts with your skin and the benefits that you can get from it and whether it works for you or not. So if you're talking about an oil blend or a watery oil, anything that has multiple different ingredients in it, the easiest way to test is to do your patch testing. See whether it agrees with your skin in the first place. Do you like the texture of it? Do you like the feel of it? Do you like the finish? Those will be the better indicators than just, crossing it off your list because, oh, that wasn't in the list that Lauren said. So you don't need to get too worried about it. But in general, those are the oils that do work well for the skin types. So how should you or can you incorporate or use an oil into your routine? Many different ways, and one of my personal favorites is to incorporate your oil as you do your facial massage. So facial massage, if you haven't already, we have an entire episode of the podcast that I did a while back just on Korean facial massage and the techniques that you can use. So go and have a scroll back through your podcast feed and you can find that one. I will link to it in the show notes as well. But that one, you basically just start with a clean face and then use a few drops of the oil to help you do your massage. That is one of my favorite ways to do that. But there's plenty more, particularly if you don't have enough time to do a facial massage. I generally tend to do my most intense massages on the weekend just because I have a little bit more time. In the morning, it's just like madhouse trying to get everyone out of the house, and off and make sure that everyone's got everything that they need, keys, school bag, all of that sort of thing. Don't really have the time. But on the weekend, when we can, sleep in a little bit, I guess, wake up a little bit more slowly, that's when I like to really get in there and do a really proper facial massage and spend, 10 to 15 minutes just doing that. Nothing feels better. It just feels very, very indulgent too. But there are plenty of ways that you can use them in your daily routine as well. So a couple of drops of oil into your moisturizer. You can apply the oil and layer it with the moisturizer if you want. You can use it either before or after. A lot of people get really caught up on which way, but I think that is a matter of trial and error. It will really depend on what works best for your skin, what you like using. You can use it either before your moisturizer or after, or even in it. So I wouldn't get too caught up on that. Some people like to use it underneath their SPF in the morning, and then other people like to blend a couple of drops of oil into their foundation as well while they're doing their makeup. And you'll find similar things. A lot of people in Korea like to do a couple of drops of a hydrating serum into their BB cream or foundation as well. So many different ways that you can incorporate them into your routine, and just find something that works for you, a way that you enjoy it, a way that you will actually be consistent and use it. That is always the best way with anything in skincare. Do it in a way that you can do it on a consistent basis so that you can get the real results from the product, rather than just something that you think about, once a month and you're like, oh gosh, I need to use that up. Like, that's not going to give you the best results as the kind of thing that you're going to use in your routine every single day, or, as often as you need it. So what are some of the best Korean facial oils? For a lot of people, they're like, yep, this is why I came to this episode in the first place, in which case, sorry that it took us 13 minutes to get here. Hopefully you just skipped through if you were after the list. So many oils that I love, and I'm going to start with one that is super bougie. It is not cheap. This is a very expensive luxury product, but a beautiful product. And this is the History of Who's Jinyulhyang Red Wild Ginseng Facial Oil. Now, this contains real red ginseng extract, not the one that you will find in most cheap Korean beauty products, but actually the wild red ginseng. And this is considered to be the ultimate ingredient for anti-aging in Korea. It has lots of well-researched and documented benefits for the skin around obviously things like hydration, minimizing the appearance of fine lines. It has antioxidative effects as well, protects the skin from all sorts of environmental stresses and damage. And that is because of the components in the red ginseng extract, but particularly in the red ginseng extract that is wild. Now, I see people from time to time, doing dupes and things like that and saying, swap this product for that. And I'm a massive fan of them, love a good dupe. But when it comes to ginseng extract, I've seen a couple of, posts and videos and whatnot as I'm scrolling through my feed, and I saw one that was comparing a wild red ginseng extract to a much cheaper cultivated ginseng and saying this is a dupe for that. And in the case of red ginseng, it's really not. There are actually not even the same amount of studies and whatnot into the cultivated ginseng that show that you get the good anti-aging benefits as you do with the wild stuff. So this is the kind of thing that unfortunately you do have to pay for, but if your budget stretches, this is an absolutely beautiful product. It's also got squalane in it. It has sweet almond oil, pomegranate, peach seed as well. Super bougie, but it is a beautiful looking product as well. It will look really nice on your chest of drawers or wherever you keep your skincare in your bathroom cabinet. That's a beautiful one. Now, if your budget doesn't quite allow for that, I totally understand. One thing on the other end of the market has a really nice jojoba golden organic oil, and that has been very popular in Australia at the moment. And that is really great because it's also got vitamin E in it. It's got a gentle texture. So it's just a really nice option for anyone that has sensitive skin. It also is good for people that have blemished skin as well. Jojoba is quite similar to how your body actually uses its own natural oil, so that's why it can be a really good one. So that one is definitely much more affordable than the History of Who one. So I'll have a link to that. Another one, a very Korean one that you might like to try, is Hanyul's Yuja face oil, and this one contains Yuja fruit peel, or yuzu, it is sometimes called. It's a citrus fruit, a Korean citrus fruit, packed full of antioxidants, great for dull or tired skin, and it is a natural source of vitamin C. So this is a really nice one for leaving your skin feel supple, hydrated, and naturally brightening it as well. Again, another one at the cheaper end of the market is Benton's Let's Carrot Oil. Now, this one I know throws a lot of people because they're like, carrot oil? I've never really considered that. But this one has got quite a few good reviews from people that were very surprised that, it worked. They were pleased with how it performed on the skin. They enjoyed using it. So don't write this one off straight away if you're like, that sounds a bit weird. The reviews for this are generally positive. It's packed full of beta-carotene, which helps protect the skin because it's full of provitamin A. It's got carrot seed oil and carrot extract as well. So great for protecting, conditioning the skin, giving it a bit more elasticity. And it also has vitamin E as well, which not only prevents oxidization of the product itself, but it can also boost the health of your skin. Vitamin E is a great one. We love it. Now, my personal favorite, and I am quite picky. I have tried many oils, many Korean oils, most of which I won't even introduce you to because I just don't rate them. This one I actually do use. I've gone through several bottles of it. It is Itzen Tree's Rose Hip Watery Beauty Oil. And even though it does have rose hip in it, because that's in the name, it does have a whole bunch of other oils as well. And it has a really watery style. It's much lighter and easier to spread. It's got primrose oil in it, sweet almond and jojoba. So very rich in nutrients. I just love it. It doesn't have an offensive smell to me. Some of the ones that I tried that I really didn't like had a very lingering smell, but this one I find it absorbs really quickly. It doesn't leave my skin feeling sticky. I love it. I think this is a really, really nice oil. So there are some options for you. And one final product, if you are wanting to try something a little bit different, is our bubble tea steam cream, and that is because it actually has an oil in cream formula. So what we wanted to do is pack as many of the benefits as we could into a single product. So we have put grapeseed and virago oil inside it, and grapeseed, you might recall from our discussion a little bit earlier, is good for a lot of different skin types. It's good for combination skin. It's really good for acne prone skin. It is one of the oils that you will see recommended for people with oily and acne prone skin. It is also a good one for dry skin as well. Very nice and versatile. So the idea of this one is that it will give you the benefits of a moisturizer with some of the benefits of a face oil in a single step. So if you wanted to condense it, if you are going away on holiday or something like that and you don't want to take all your lotions and potions with you, then this is a good option as well, because it does actually have the oils in the cream. So that's just another little sneaky one that I will stick in your list. Hopefully you've picked up a couple of tips, a couple of pointers, maybe something that you haven't tried before that you're keen to try out. If so, I would love it if you would share the show with someone that you think would also enjoy it. Feel free to come and hit me up on social media. Let me know if you have another oil that you've been absolutely loving, something that you would like to suggest. I'm all ears when it comes to oils. I feel like I was on a crusade probably about a year ago. Maybe more than a year ago. It's all blending in, guys. Probably more than a year ago. Now that I think about it, maybe 2 years ago, I was on an oil crusade. I was like, I'm going to find the best oil ever. And I tried so many different oils. I went through a whole bunch of Western ones. I picked up a bunch when I was in the States, and I went through everything that I could find here in Korea, offline, the more common offline stores. And oh God, I tried a lot of just really ordinary products. So I know from first-hand experience, it can be a little bit of a trial and error to find something that you really do love, that agrees with you, that gives you the results that you're looking for. But do not despair. Your product is out there, even if you have to kiss a few frogs to find your perfect match. Don't give up, because the benefits of a really good face oil are, like I said, just so much goodness in one little product. So happy face oil hunting. Hopefully this can help you on your travels, on your journey, and I will wrap up here and save everything else, I guess, for next week. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you back here next week for more K-Beauty chat. All right, in the meantime, I will see you over on Style Story. Bye.